19, 18, 17, mark. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And last off for Sunday Assemblies. Thank you very much. I am super excited today because today marks the 1-year anniversary of Sunday Assembly in San Diego. This is our 11th Assembly, and welcome everybody here. So glad to have you. Thank you very much for coming. But Sunday Assembly, I wonder if you're ever, there's a media-free zone. We are recording the assembly as we always do. So if you don't want to be videotaped or photographed, please take a seat in the media-free zone. In Sunday Assembly, we love speeches, we love science, we love snacks, but most of all, we love singing. So we always start off with a song. Our song today, led by Paul, is Oblada by the Beatles. This is a sing-along, so if you'd like to stand up and sing along, it is not required, and you're not required to sing along, but I'm sure it's fun. Take it away, Paul.
White Album, you remember the White Album? Some of you might. It's on one of those big round black things and cruising. Disney has a barrel in the marketplace. Molly is a singer in the band. Dancing sits in Molly, yeah, I like your face and everything. Think about it. Here we go. Oh, my knee, oh, my God, my goes on.
Sunday Assembly. Thank you all for coming. Sunday Assembly is a 100% deity-free celebration of this one life that we know that we have. The motto for Sunday Assembly is live better, help often, and wonder more. And boy, we got a lot of that in this assembly and in the past year, so we'll cover some of that. My name is Stephen Soden. I am your MC for the day. The theme for the day is meaningful death after a meaningful life. Is there anybody that's new to Sunday Assembly today? Anyone? Great. So glad down here. Keep your hands up in the air. All right. Welcome. So glad to have you here. So glad you made it. This is our 11th Sunday Assembly and our 1-year anniversary. We did this December of last year, but otherwise we've been going on strong straight through, and so glad to have you here. There's a kids zone outside, so please, we encourage you to bring your children. We do have games and stuff for them to play outside there, and you're welcome to sit in here with us. We like to have all the families here. Please bring a friend, tell a friend, and bring them with you. What is better than one song? Two songs! Our next song is a song called I Will Follow You Into the Dark by Def Cab for Cutie.
The weirdest band name ever.
You're not going to stand up and sing one of them. Do it. And you don't have to do scissors, because if everybody does that, this will Okay, pair off in teams, and we're going to have the championship here. We're going to show the winner. Okay, give yourself pair off. Pair off. Pair off. Give yourself pair off. Everybody got the marker? Okay. Your attention, please. Your attention, please. We're going to have to do this all together. Please, we have our attention. It's very important. We're going to have to do this all my work. All my work, everybody. And please, you know, the stakes are very high here. Because we have prizes today. We have your choice of a pessimist coffee glass. This shows you when it's half empty. Or a pessimist mug. Or the book. Bad arguments. You get your choice of one of these. And the stakes are super high because the winner of this event gets to cut the ceremonial first anniversary cake for Sunday Assembly. This is a big deal, people. This is a one-round elimination, so make your choices carefully. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. Winners stand up. Winners stand up. Winners stand up. Winners stand up. Losers sit down. I'm sorry. Sit down. Everybody who worked here up? All right. Is everybody who worked here up? Here's a winner in front of the person right here. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, go. Because we're getting out I will state this correctly. 1, 2, 3, go. Let's pair up. All right. Excitement mounts. Oh boy, here we go. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, losers, take a seat. Oh, I'm sorry, non-winners, take a seat, please. Okay, yeah, so we can get this over. This is it. You guys got that? Oh, okay, we're going here. Oh, this is happening. Okay, we have a winner there. All right, pair back up. Oh, another epic struggle. Okay. Okay, we're going. All right. All right. This is down to the final round here. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go!
Lauren, I should not be able to do that. I'm trying to get
All right. Like that's how fate has chosen. No, we have to see. We have to do this one again. That would be like saying shaving your haircut and not having your 2 bits. So here we go. 1. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. That was horrible. Try again. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. Very nice. That argument's well chosen, sir. Nice job, everybody. Today we have a reading. Kristen Smith is going to read The Dash by Linda Ellis. Kristen, why don't you come on up? Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I understand that the theme today is about meaningful life and a meaningful death. And I was asked to read this poem, and when I looked at it, I kind of recognized it, and I thought, oh, it's so boring. But then I thought about it, and I thought, oh, well, different words hit different people, and kind of give them that jolt that help them really look at their life. And indeed, I read it to a friend yesterday, and she herself had a little jolt of awareness. So it's The Dash by Linda Ellis, and it was written in 1996. Can you all hear me? Yeah. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time that they spent alive on earth. And now only those who loved them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love, and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what's true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger, and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and wear more often a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read, when your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash?
That's great. Thank you very much. Our speaker today is Scott Snider, who is an RN transplant coordinator. Scott currently works at St. Vincent's Medical Center, multi-organ transplant center in downtown Los Angeles. He has 27 years experience in organ donation and transplant fields. His passion is helping people understand the desperate need for organ donations and eliminating common organ donation myths. So very happy to have him here, Mr. Scott Snider.
I can speak really loudly if you like. Thank you. Hi, my name's Scott. My name's Scott, and I'm an RN transplant coordinator, and we're going to talk about some serious things, but I want to stay a little light because this is important stuff, and I don't want people running for the doors too quickly. I have been involved in organ transplant and organ donation for about 27 years. I started in this after I got out of the Army in 1986, 87. And, I joined the Army. It wasn't, we were in a peacetime Army, and I can't really say I joined it. If I was going to be honest, I can't say I joined to save the world or anything. I grew up in southeastern Ohio, and it was a way to get out, basically. And then my life has kind of been like that, falling into things that I kind of fell in love with and been lucky along the way. And I couldn't do better without this. And so I got out of the Army and I moved to San Francisco, and I needed a job in an ICU, and they said, well, we do organ transplants here. And I'm like, okay. Little did I know that this was one of the premier organ transplant centers in the country at that time. And I kind of fell along with that and saw some amazing things and stayed in organ transplant and cardiovascular surgery up until about the year 2000. And then another friend of mine, she moonlighted at this organ procurement organization in Los Angeles called One Legacy, and she worked part-time with my ICU. She's like, I think you'd like this. Why don't you check it out? I was like, okay. And I kind of fell into this, applied at One Legacy, and didn't get hired the first time because they needed a pediatric specialist, even though I had pediatric experience, or somebody else was a better choice at that time. But 6 months later, they did hire me. And I fell into the world of organ donation. Now, driving down here from Los Angeles today, I was listening to NPR because I'm a progressive liberal, and Sunday morning, that's what you have to do to say it. But there was a story there about a woman talking about altruism. Now, I am a spiritual person, but I'm not the kind of spiritual that has to descend into mysticism. I believe in spirituality as practicing spiritual principles such as honesty, integrity, tolerance, patience, and altruism. It makes my spirit, my sense of well-being, better. And that's my definition of spirituality. But this researcher was talking about living donation. And we're not going to focus on living donation so much today. Today we're going to get to donation after brain death. But there was her focus was on this woman who was an altruistic donor. She did not donate to somebody she knew, her mother, her child, her son, complete stranger. This woman's in New York, donated to somebody in San Bernardino, California. I've had experience with that with a few people. This woman, this researcher, has taken a study of these extreme altruists and done functional MRI studies on them. And what did she decide is she discovered that as a sidebar, she's also studied the brains of psychopaths. And I guess that's her control group. I don't know. What she found with these extreme altruists, their amygdalas were large, and the psychopaths had small amygdalas. Now, far be it for me to stand here and judge the size of anyone's amygdala in this room, but I have to feel like that we have a bunch of ginormous amygdala. I don't know. But it's interesting to see that there is a group of people that will step forward and simply donate when given the chance. And whether they're altruistic, or their child, or their parent, or their best friend needs to have a living organ, they step up and do it. And it's an amazing, amazing experience for all people that are involved. But today we're going to talk about pretty much the worst day of a life. And what happens, and what my involvement was for the years that I did that. So let's go ahead and show the first slide. So how do you get on the transplant waiting list? Well, basically you have organ failure. And maybe cystic fibrosis, you have cardiomyopathy, you have a very weak heart, or for the vast majority of people needing organs, they have kidney failure, diabetes, lupus, hypertension, pediatric nephrology. Pediatric, sometimes when you're born, you have small ureters or small vessels. So a number of reasons could cause kidney failure. So you end up being on the transplant waiting list. You go to your local transplant evaluation center here in San Diego, the UC San Diego or Scripps. They're both incredible centers. You do the surgeon, the social worker, the dietitian, the surgeon, the nephrologist, the cardiologist, we all evaluate. You're presented at a selection committee. Selection committee is maintained by the United Network of Organ Sharing, highly regulated industry by the United Network of Organ Sharing. There's one office in Alexandria, Virginia. There's one national list for each organ. You go to your selection committee, it's not up to the surgeons or the dietitians or anyone to say, well, I kind of like her. He's okay. I think he'll do good. The answers are yes, no, or wait. And you have to stick by your own programs. If you say you're only going to transplant people with a BMI less than 35, if you happen to be presented and you're 35.5, there's no wiggle room. We'll go on to why this is so strict. So, who's waiting? And I did this last month. 123,995 people were waiting on October 24th. Kidney was 100,000 of those. Kidney pancreas, 3,235. When you have diabetes, one of the major problems with diabetes is kidney failure. If you've got a creatinine, which will be measured, normal is 0.8 to 1.2, you've got diabetes, your creatinine is 1.8, you're hanging in there. When we give you a pancreas transplant, that kidney's going to go south. So we tend to get kidney and pancreas at the same time. Liver, 15,000, heart, 3,998, lung, 1,631, heart and lung together, 54. I would imagine about 48 of those are females, with hypertension. And intestines, 260, a lot of them kids. Now, California, on that same day, we had 23,421. That's 1/5 of the national list. 1/5 of the people waiting for organs live here in California. Wow. And you can go ahead and read the number. So, we have 19,429 people waiting for kidney, 270 for kidney fangs, liver is 3,019. Go back to the previous slide. You know? I'm sorry, 15,000. So, I thought the liver was a little higher. Go ahead, go to the next one. Heart, lung, and intestine. We have a few more of the heart lung percentage-wise because we have some really great heart lung centers. Not that there's more people using. Next slide. So this is important. It's a little bit of a busy slide. If you go back from 2003 to 2013, we don't have the 2014 numbers yet because we have to wait for Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to provide us with their death records until we can update them. But you can then decide number of people. So the blue line is deceased donors recovered, pretty flat. Deceased donor organs transplanted from 2000 to 2013, slightly higher because of some technological advances, but certainly not vastly improved. But if you look at the patients waiting at the end of the year end in 2003, I remember the list was about 83,000 people. Now, 10 years later, almost 115,000, 120,000. So the demand has increased, but the supply has remained the same. What that means more people are dying on the list. Pardon? Deceased donor organs recovered. So what that means is a deceased donor, maybe in 2003, we were averaging 3 organs per donor. Now we average about 3.84 organs per donor. And that has to do with technological advances of how we actually manage the deceased donor and some preservation techniques for the organs between donation and implantation. But it hasn't improved a whole lot. Next slide. So every 10 minutes, someone is added to the national wait list. Every 10 minutes. While I'm talking, let me talk to people at it. 21 people died while waiting for a transplant. Every day. Every day. They're on the list, they're doing everything right, they're going to dialysis, they're seeing their doctors, they're listed, they're waiting, they've done everything right, and yet they still die. And one organ donor can save 8 lives. That's because you get 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, a heart, pancreas, intestine, and liver that can be transplanted. But one of the reasons the amount of organ donation hasn't improved, or the transplanted organs haven't improved, because the opportunity to donate is really, really, really rare. Most of us die of cancer, of old age, of a chronic disease, something that excludes you from being an organ donor, unfortunately. Only 5 in 1,000 are medically eligible to donate organs upon death. But I tell you, these few that I would approach, and they have that opportunity, it's a very honorable moment, and I cherish every opportunity I've had to deal with these families, this next of kin, on that worst day of their life. Because an overwhelming majority of people say yes. They say, of course, you want this. They say, this horrible day suddenly made sense. One fellow I had, he was sitting in the backseat of a pickup truck. His brother-in-law and his brother was driving on the 5 south. The truck lost a tire in front, coming the opposite direction. It bounced across their hood and hit him in the forehead. On the way to work. These are the senseless, piano falling from the roof kind of deaths. These are the, nobody expected it. Kiss your child goodbye in the morning, get a call 2 hours later, they collapsed on the playground. Unbelievable, tragic stories. But these families, I had 96% consent rate. They say, of course, this is the right thing to do. This makes sense. Next slide, please. So I mentioned about this, what organs can be transplanted. Kidneys, of course, you've got 2 of them. One, you don't transplant 2 kidneys into one person. That's right. It's enough. type 1, some centers, ours included, will transplant type 2 diabetes if you meet certain criteria. You can't be obese. That's the main criteria. Heart, lungs, 2 lungs, liver, and pancreas. Lungs usually go for pulmonary fibrosis, pulmonary hypertension, and cystic fibrosis. Now, tissue for transplantation, a lot of these times, age, certain diseases do not exclude you from donating. So we would offer organ or tissue donation. Tissue, of course, is skin for burns, bones. Anybody who's had like a lot of dental work, you may be a tissue recipient because of these complex bone material. Corneas, of course, and non-transplantable organs occasionally can be used in research because there are some really smart scientists in Duke and Texas and up in San Francisco who are trying to, invent me out of a job, and that would be great. If you get kidney disease and your doctor says we're going to take a swab of your cheek skin, and you're going to come back in 6 months and we'll have your kidney grown on a collagen frame, and we're going to transplant you with that kidney and you won't need immunosuppression, I'd love to see that in my lifetime. Not so great. Next slide, please. So who donates? Nationally, 14,259 donors. But remember, one donor can save a number of people. So we don't need 120,000. Living donors were 5,991, deceased 8,268. So people do step up where their loved ones or their family members need a kidney. Now, the living organs can be transplanted are lung and kidney. We're not going to take up hearts for somebody. Some centers can also do a section of the liver. So only lung, liver, and kidney can be living donors. California, we had 916 living donors and deceased donors at 1,296. But it's weird. You would think this number, with all this information, would be increasing, but it's been decreasing since 2006, and that's not because people don't say yes. It's because people are living longer, and they're excluded from donation if they're when they do pass away. If you're 80 years old and you had 40 years of hypertension, you're probably not going to be the best donor. Your organs aren't going to save you this time. So that's why we're kind of decreasing number of donors. Next slide, please. That will be repeated. So the determination of death, cardiac death or brain death. Brain death, I used to tell my families, you imagine wrapping a piece of string around your finger and leaving it there until your finger turns black. That finger is not going to grow back. It's dead. Brain death is cessation of blood flow to the brain, from the midbrain up. There's no blood flow. It will not get better. They're not in a deep coma. They're not in a really bad sleep. They are dead. By the definition 1982, the National Organ Transplant Act defined brain death as something that actually existed. Before 1992, we had no legal definition of brain death. Cardiac death is irreversible cessation of circulatory and respiratory functions. It says the tissue donor only, except in certain circumstances. So if you die out in the street, you're brought to the emergency room, and your DOA and never revived, you can be a tissue donor. But there's also this other method of donation after cardiac death. You've had such a severe stroke, you're never going to improve, but you still have a trickle of blood flow to your brain. What they can do is offer the option of donation after the family has already decided to withdraw support. So you don't offer this before the family's decided to withdraw to support. But if they've already decided, he's not going to look like this, we're going to withdraw support, then after they make that decision, you can take that person to the operating room. If the heart stops within 10 or 15 minutes, the organs are still on. So that's another process we can do. Next slide. What causes organ donation? Head trauma, subarachnoid hemorrhage, strokes, cardiac arrest. Primary brain tumors do not metastasize, so we can usually use those organs for that person. Anoxic brain injury, drug overdosing, and drowning. Those are the common diagnoses. Next. So the first thing we always think, there's this common myth that if you had a donor dog on your license, that when you got to the emergency room team aren't going to work as hard on you because they want to give it organ. That's very common. Very common. A lot of people believe that. But when you think about these emergency room personnel, their jobs are to save your life. They don't go rooting through your wallet first thing. In So the hospital always tries to save your life first. Then, they're unsuccessful. They do some brain, they say, this person's brain has stopped functioning. They call the local organ procurement organization. The local organ procurement organization evaluates this if they're a potential donor. If they are a potential donor, the organ procurement organization, not the hospital, specially trained workers, approach them. There's complete decoupling. The hospital says brain death testing has been positive. Unfortunately, your loved one has died. The ventilator will be removed within the next 4 hours. Not if you want to. It will be removed. Give them 30 minutes to sit with that decoupling period. The organ procurement organization comes in and offers them the opportunity. Okay. How recipients are paired, they must blood type compatible. Not B positive, B negative. That's an RH factor, doesn't matter. Only the white blood cell and the blood type. So A, B, O. Size, height, weight, compatible. You can't put a giant heart into a little person. Geography, limited time. Hearts, lungs can't stay on ice for very long, 5-6 hours. So that geography determines that. Urgency of need, primary for heart and liver. Heart and liver, you might die this week if you don't do more. If you've got a dialysis patient, you can stay on the list for 10 years. And that's how long you wait in California. 10 years in California. Oklahoma, 3 years. Time waiting is the primary for a kidney. So, we're here to help out. Or at least help once in my case, right? The best thing you can do, of course, is create an advanced directive for healthcare. And it's like, and we all say we're going to do that someday, right after we finish our wills, right? And the minimum, have a discussion with your next of kin and say, if I catch a bullet with my eye next week, I want to be an organ donor. That's all it is. It's brought up at dinner, now pass the peace. And it can be that simple. But the most effective way right now is California was the 26th state to create a donor registry where you sign on to donatelifecalifornia.org. You provide first-person consent. This is legally binding. Tissue, organ, no matter what. Nobody, Aunt Mary can't show up on that day, half sideways and say, oh, I didn't know they were talking about stop the presses. It's happening. And everyone backs off. We bury the words. If you give first-person consent, it's legally binding. DonateLifeCalifornia.org. Takes about 10 minutes because they're going to specifically ask you, you want to donate only one kidney? You want to donate everything? You can't donate whole body, like will body programs. Those are specifically with universities. So if you wanted to donate your body for research, contact University of San Diego, UCLA, whoever has a medical school. They'll be happy to take it. Great book we were talking about the other day by Mary Roach called Spook. Great book, and there's a chapter in that about will body programs and how touching and respectful it is for these residents to work on these will bodies, and they have a beautiful ceremony at the end of the year when they have to cremate these bodies. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. Go ahead, next slide. So these are our resources once again. DonateLifeCalifornia.org. San Diego's organ procurement organization is lifesharing.org. Wonderful organization. They're a separate organization in Los Angeles. The 7 counties surrounding Los Angeles are called One Legacy. There's 5 OPOs in California. Then SRTR.org is a scientific registry of transplant recipients. If you're a data mom, I think there is any data moms in here, but there might be. It's amazing because since 1982, all the data from all the transplants is there. You can search nationally, you can search locally, you can search by transplant center, you can search by organ, and it's really quite easy to use. I use it every week. But it's interesting to see because this organization is one of the few programs that has been followed very closely since its inception, since the National Organ Transplant Act was passed in 1982. So it's kind of fascinating. I think that's all I have. Excellent. That's it. I'll be here till 12:45 to answer personal questions. No questions or issues.
Thank you very much, Scott. That's awesome. so I think you've given us all food for thought for a breakout session. This is your Sunday assembly, and we take the things that you have to say that you would like to add to the assembly. Let's go to the board meetings and we discuss them. We take them very seriously. We like your opinions. One of the things that one of our members brought up was they would like to try, and we would like to try this time, is a breakout session. So the way this will work is we have a topic today, is what legacy would you like to leave behind? And we'd like to break into groups of 6 and 7. We have post-it notes in the back of the building here, with this huge facility way there in the back. And we'd like you to get 5 minutes to discuss what legacy would you like to leave behind. We're going to break into groups of 6 and 7. I'll give you an idea of where your group is, and then you guys can work that out yourselves. And why don't we do smaller groups, 5 and 6, because we have this many people and so many people in there, so 5 and 6 people. This will be a 5-minute discussion. If you are in the media-free zone and wish to stay in the media-free zone, we'll have 2 sections in the back over here, so do that side and we'll make sure that you are not recorded. And additionally, if you're somebody who needs to or prefers to sit, please stay in your seat and we will make sure we have a group around you or a group of similarly situated people. So, I'm gonna go around here and kind of give you an idea. If you would, go to the back of the room. We're gonna have 5 minutes for this, and let's do the breakout session. So we have 5 or 6 people right here, 5 or 6 people right here, 5 or 6 here. Do you guys have So there's spots in the back there. So just take out a group. card in the back, please write something down, put that in there, because we'd love to hear what you have to say about it, and we'd love to make this an assembly for all of us. We have right now, part of what we do is, we call it doing our best. It's one of our members tells us something about their life or an experience that they've had that would fall into the category of doing their best. It's one of the assemblies. Please let us know if you want to do this during the assembly. Today, the person that we're going to have doing this is Michelle Weaver. Michelle, I'm going to bring the microphone to you. So Michelle, what's your
All right, so today we're talking about meaning in our lives, and a lot of people get meaning through parent. And it also happens to be Adoption Month, which I just found out last night on the internet that November is National Adoption Month. So I wanted to talk about my experiences of caring for the people through adoption and for now through foster care. I've always been a really sensitive person, and I didn't quite know what it was called, but there are lots of articles and research now on this temperament called highly sensitive temperament. And so as a kid, I was always very drawn to fundraisers for people in need, and I was a Key Club president organizing food drives. And somehow as a teenager, I became aware of adoption and decided that I was going to put that in front of my family planning, that I was going to be trying to adopt as an adult. And things don't always work out as we imagine as children or teenagers, but I did end up adopting a daughter who is 7 years old and a really incredible little vivacious, fast girl who yesterday scored the 3 goals in the soccer tournament to make her team champions. When I decided to adopt, I thought I would adopt siblings because I thought if I were adopted, I would want someone else who was there to go through the experience with, that it would be more comforting that way. And my daughter was an only child, so I did let the agency know that I was interested in adopting a second child. And I waited and I waited and I waited for a call about a second child and didn't hear anything. And so I got not only tired of waiting, I also got tired of my daughter saying she wanted somebody to play with. So, like a lot of other parents, I gave in and agreed to a social worker's suggestion to sign up for foster care as a possible route to adopting a second child. And so as soon as I got approved, the calls started coming in for foster care of kids who needed a placement. And one of these calls was for an emergency placement for a 2-year-old who I was told would probably be with us for 2 to 4 weeks because she was going to be placed with family members. And I thought, okay, 2 to 4 weeks, this will be a good distraction for my daughter before we go on our vacation to New Mexico to visit a friend of mine, and maybe she'll become available for adoption, who knows. So I had in my mind 2 to 4 weeks or forever. And it didn't quite happen that way, like foster care often doesn't. It's been 4 months now that the little one has been with us, and we had to cancel that trip to New Mexico. We didn't get our summer vacation. And I've also become aware that the little girl is not going to be staying with us. She's going to be reunited with her mom. And so during this time, I've struggled to stick to my commitment to care for a child that's not going to remain part of our family. And if anyone's taking care of a 2-year-old, you know that it's a lot of work. And I'm also single-handedly, or almost single-handedly, caring for an aging parent and 7 pets because I also have a sensitivity for animals. So foster care can be kind of an emotional roller coaster, and for all of those involved. But there's also a lot of joy in it, and I know that my daughter's having a lot of fun right now with the little girl who's with us, and I hope that in the future we will have a permanent placement in our family. And so when I remember to take a deep breath and just try and focus on not having everything settled right now and wanting things to be the way I want them, I'm very happy to be having both of these girls in my life for now. So if anyone has any questions about foster care or adoption, I will be very happy to speak to you when we have our coffee and snacks afterwards.
Thank you very much. Thank you both for being here. That's just awesome. That's really great. Thank you. That's great. We're going to take 1 minute out of our assembly for a silent moment of reflection. We've got plenty to think about, and we will start that moment. Minutes, 60 seconds of our lives together. I guess this isn't like a birthday wish where you can't tell what you thought about during the minute because it won't happen if you do. I was thinking about the organ donations, and Scott, I didn't know the numbers were that high, that the meeting's that great. I haven't always had an organ donor, and I would go to donate Life California today, and we'll make sure that we're on there. So. Thank you. That's very impactful. I think that a bit for many of us, we know we have this life, and to me it's wonderful. I think that by when it's over, I can help somebody extend their life to enjoy their life. I mean that's just a marvelous thing to do. And I can do that, so I'm going to stay healthy all the way through, and maybe I'll age out, but just in case, I'm ready to go. One more minute to stay healthy. My brother and I recently went to, we traveled through Death Valley, which I highly recommend. If you've never explored Death Valley, it's really neat, and we do that in November, or April. That's the name. We stayed in Furnace Creek, which is often the hottest place in America, and we traveled to Badwater Basin, which is the lowest surface point in the United States, 282 feet below sea level. And there's this little road that leads from there to there. It's miles long, and it's not even a 2-lane road. It's like a road, and it's like barren. There's the mountains here. It's just barren all the way around. There's no vegetation or nothing. It's just dirt. It's really cool. And so we're traveling this road, and you don't like. It's not like you could go 100 miles an hour because what could happen? You'll run out of the dirt. But we go, we're like going like 15 miles an hour because it's beautiful and it's awe-inspiring. And there was a couple that are on the side of the road, and they're walking the other way, and they're wearing really fluorescent green vests, which I guess for the traffic, or I guess if they lost in the desert, I can't see it, I'm not really sure. And the woman that was there, and the man that was there, they went, my brother and I went, and I don't know, just in that moment, I just felt like I was sharing something with them. It was like they were saying, look what we're doing. Look what we're doing. We're here in Death Valley and we're sharing this together. And it was just really cool. And we often, when we were walking around with people, we were going to some of the places to see there. And there are places to see there, actually. We would see people and they'd be off in the distance and we just kind of wave at them and they would back at us. And there's that social connection. And I'm one of those people that's like a joy to me. I do this all day at work. I see thousands of people today. And all my employees, I say hello. It's like that thing you do with your postman. You don't really know your postman or your UPS guy, but you see him every day, you have a little chat, you say something about a thing, you bring me more periodicals, you don't something about the encyclopedia, but I have to, that's the whole thing. And you have a little conversation, maybe about the weather, maybe it's not that important, but it's that human connection. And I just love that so much. And it's like one of those wonderful things about life that you get to enjoy every day, like eating, or laughing, or in my case, caffeine. So it's, one of those just fun things that's just good every time. I really enjoy that. We recently went to a party for a friend whose birthday it was. He's a gin drinker. It was a gin tasting party, very well organized. I don't drink. But we watched the people do the gin tasting, and after it was a regular party, and then you stand around and you make conversation with people. So conversely, I'm really uncomfortable in that situation. I'm not exactly sure why. But I have my little cup, and I'm listening to people talk about the things that they are talking about, cars or other things, just things, and I just kind of feel uncomfortable. Like I'm trying to make conversation, and it just never kind of seems to fit. And I think, why can I go into thousands of people at my work, and this is like 40, 50 people here, and it's still uncomfortable? And I think the difference is because at work, everybody's on the same playing field. There's no politics in it, there's no religion in it, it's just a human connection. And I really enjoy that. And most of all, I enjoy being able to be with my friends, to be with you, and have a discussion. And Sunday Assembly for me has been that. It's been a year long, and it's just been so fantastic. I've had such substantive discussions with people about real things. I didn't know any of you people a year ago. None of us knew each other. It's just like an amazing thing. When we sit in a board meeting, and I think these people that I now call my friends, these smart, wonderful, dedicated, hardworking, funny people that I call friends now. We have real discussions. I feel like we're really doing something. And to you people, I say, look what we're doing! Look what we are! Happy birthday, Sunday Assembly! Entirely volunteers and not-for-profit. This is where we pass the hat for Sunday Assembly. Which no, that's Lou's hat, actually. If this is your first time to Sunday Assembly, please let that hat pass right on by you. If you like Sunday Assembly and want to keep this going, there's quite a few expenditures that go with Sunday Assembly. We have other ways of donating. If you want to make this fast and quick, we do have PayPal swipers. Also, we do encourage you to do a recurring donation. My wife and I do that. It helps us pay for the room and some of the other things and expenses. By the donation jars in the back, there's a list of the expense sheet there and the things that you want to have transparency. We have a cost breakdown next to the donation jars. You can donate with cash, personal check. Laura's in the back there. She will take the card. Also, you have things to buy if you want. We have cups and shirts. And we're going to make sure somebody should hear it when we finish. It's always cool and great to talk about it. And if you don't want to do that, you're going to do that at the website as well. And if you're broke, don't give. Feel free anytime. We have some announcements, and normally we kind of break out and talk while we're doing this, but I think if it's okay, we're going to have our first year anniversary, and while we go over some of the announcements, we're going to pass out some party hats. Can I get one to tell me first to wear one of those party hats? Wow, that is awesome. In any of the circumstances, I would make this a done tag. I'm good. This is our 1 year anniversary. As I mentioned before, we have our birthday cake here. It's 1 year anniversary Sunday, San Diego. Private, plus we'll come up later and do the ceremony of the first cut of the cake. Some things I want to make sure that you know about that are upcoming for Sunday Assembly is on your calendars for this on December 14th. Ian Harris is presenting a concert. Ian's done two, I think he was the host twice here for Sunday Assembly, and he's fantastic, and I think he's safe to say that he's going to be Ian. He's really funny, and the proceeds for the Sunday Assembly, he's graciously offered to donate a part of the proceeds to for his show, in which turn we'll be using that for stand-up for kids holiday dinner that you're sponsoring. not a picture, but we are going to be donating gifts to the children from Snider kids. There's 17 kids that we like to buy basic things for, like things like shoes and toys. We like to provide them a small gift. We'll arrange a time and a place and drop those gifts off, and we'll communicate that with you. We're not asking for volunteers to do the meal, but we are doing a meal for a group of kids, and that is going to be fantastic. One thing I do want to is that at solstice for the and here's Chloe who explained all.
Okay, so he was mentioning about the gifts. We are collecting gifts for Santa for kids. If you guys want to check it out, we have a tree in the front lobby, and on the tree there's little pieces of paper that have the name of the child, the age, and what gifts they would like. These are kids who are either homeless and have children or don't have children themselves. So please consider doing that. The gifts can either be arranged of you bringing them to our winter solstice event, which I'll talk about in a second, or you can contact Betsy and she'll tell you about the other drop-off options, and that's Betsy right there, the beautiful, fabulous, sparkly shirt there. Okay, so our other event that is coming up, we're really excited about. We are partnering with San Diego Coalition of Reason. The coalition is going to be hosting a winter solstice event. So instead of the assembly next month, we're doing a winter solstice event. It's going to be fabulous. There's going to be an hour of games, and we're going to have myths and different scientific experiments and cornhole. Yeah, right? Okay, so cornhole, and then we're going to do an hour, about 45 minutes. There's going to be a catered meal. So that'll be really nice. We're going to be doing a winter program called Brighter Than Today. It's going to follow the kind of winter solstice, the winter night arc. So light to dark to light again. We're going to be doing that. So that's going to be really fabulous. It's been done around the country. It's been happening for about 3 years. So that's going to be really exciting. And then desserts and raffles. So it's going to be a super fun time. You can sign up for tickets in the back over by the merchandise table. It will be a ticketed event. Children are welcome. There will be a children's program provided. So there's something special for the kids. So please bring a friend, come to that. It's going to be really awesome. And the tickets are about $20 per person and then $10 for kids. So please consider coming to that. It'll be really great. And then second thing that I want to mention too, it's actually going to be on the solstice. It's going to be on the 21st, so at night, from 4 to 7. So 4 to 7:30. So it'll be really great. The other thing that I want to mention is Michelle talked about foster care today and talked about adoptions, and we have I'd like to set up an informational night for people who are interested in either becoming foster parents, adopting a child from the system, or volunteering with foster kids through a program called Voices for Children as a court-appointed special advocate. So if you're interested in learning more about that, learning about those different opportunities, you could both talk to Michelle, but also we have a sign-up sheet for the informational night in the lobby. So please consider doing that. I'm a court-appointed special advocate for foster kids, and it's a great experience. So please consider doing that as well in the lobby. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Chloe. I couldn't have done that better. Appreciate that very much. One thing about the solstice, I love that you were saying it'll be at night at 4. We also have the Opposites campaign. We're still collecting Opposites Saver stamps for December on behalf of Parenting Beyond Religion, efforts to help transitioning foster youth for this holiday season. And the cost of helping help, they hope to purchase some cookware that they can donate to Just in Time for Foster Youth Program. We have a collection can in the back of the table, so please do shop Opposites, bring us some stamps. We had last time that we want to do this as a Life Happens event. We want you to share your events, the things that happen in your life, milestones, things that happened since the last assembly. We talked about Kristen's birthday last time, and then we all went and partied with her on Halloween Day. It was fantastic. It was really great, very fun. And then, donations already. I want to mention also that we're doing a food bake. It's the first Thursday. That's December 4th, this time at 6 p.m. Do something to help others have a good time hanging out with each other. That's been really fun. And also, for some people, are having a cross-stitch swoop this afternoon. So if you want to join us, that's 3 p.m. Let's go. It's right across town. I think that's got it. I don't know if I missed anything out there. Oh, yeah. Yes, I have indeed. We have at the back of the building, right there, way back there, like 250 feet, that tree right there, Snider got some really cool Post-it notes that look like could be used. Please write something on it, what Sunday Assembly means to you, something that's meaningful, anything you want to put on there, please, and then leaf it on the tree. Yeah, please. And my son's giving me the thumbs up. So, but he's been doing that all my life, all the times I've ever watched, so no worries there. So stick around for after the assembly. Usually we go and meet somewhere. For those of you that are new, we go out to the Park, Pizza Hut, or downtown, or something like that. But today we're going to be right here in very old San Diego. When we said we're going to be here an extra hour, we normally have cake and cookies and coffee, but today we got a little bit of extra stuff and cake. And let's bring Brian up, and I need a knife here because we need to do the ceremonial. Brian, please do the honors before the ceremonial. Anniversary cake. Takes place